welcome to another edition of Journey of Hope. Stories of people that have encountered some kind of a tragedy, some type of illness, cancer, and the people have not only survived, but they have thrived. It's sobering news when you hear those words, "You have cancer." For some people, they are stymied right then and there. For some people, they hear it, and rather than hearing it as a diagnosis, they hear it as a death sentence. Getting the big C is sobering, not only for the individual, but for the whole family. Our special guest today is Jennifer Gardner, whom I got acquainted with a number of years ago. And Jennifer is one of those people, she received it as a diagnosis and refused to yield to what many people thought was a very crippling disease. She was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And Jennifer, it's so good to have you here again and to get caught up on some of the things that have been going on in the past. But for our listening audience, you know, here you are, a beautiful girl and long, beautiful hair, and I know this was an issue.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about where you're from and when you were in high school and what you were doing in high school so that the people can kind of get an idea of who you are and what you were doing.
Well, my name is Jennifer Gardner. I am now 29 years old. In March '97, I was 16 years old, and they diagnosed me with an inoperable brain tumor out in LA Children's Hospital. They told me that there was really nothing they could do. I could try chemo, which would keep me alive for a little bit longer, and radiation, but it was basically just gonna buy me a few months.
So now you're 16.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing in high school? I mean, were you just a student? Were you actively involved, or were you a bookworm, or what were you doing?
I was, well, I was homecoming queen. I ran track, cross country. I was a big time surfer every chance I got. Never ditched school to go surfing though, I promise. But I was very active in school.
Very actively involved. And so, I mean, what were some of the symptoms you had of this brain tumor?
Well, my equilibrium was off, and I wasn't able to stand up as well when I was surfing, and I started to lose my vision a little bit. It was blurry, everything. So we basically thought that maybe I just needed glasses. So I went in to get checked for glasses, and the eye doctor had told me that he believes there's pressure built up and there was something behind the eyes or by the ventricles.
So I mean, even through the eye exam and his examination, he thought it was far more than just
glasses or something like that.
Okay.
So he ended up sending me to a neurosurgeon, and we went into this neurosurgeon. The neurosurgeon ordered an MRI almost immediately. So I had the MRI done, and he said, "I'm not even going to attempt to operate on this, but we give you a few months." So
what was the particular type? Did they know at that time what it kind of was?
This was in Loma, and they really didn't give me a time frame. So immediately I wanted a second opinion. My whole family.
Was this in Loma or in Los Angeles?
This one was in Loma.
Okay.
And so my brother started researching, and they found a #1 neurosurgeon in the U.S. So we went to him, and he was
it's always good to get a second opinion.
Yeah, and so we went to him, and he said, "I will attempt it, and if it's cancer, I'm just going to close up." And this time they thought it was just a couple tumors that they could remove, and I'd be fine, and it wouldn't be that invasive. And I went into LA a few weeks later, and my family stayed at the Ronald McDonald House out there. Amazing experience. It was Easter, and my family was dyeing Easter eggs with the kids, and I mean, I was a kid too, so, you know.
So you're 16, going in, and the doctor thinks there's a chance of just removing a little bit. I mean, it looked like the tumor was quite small and confined to one area.
Yeah.
And they looked like it would be a good possibility.
Good. Well, it wasn't that small, but they didn't see if it had arms off of it, which spread out through the brain, the
Sure.
cancer. And he said, yeah, it looks good. I think we can go in, remove them, and you'll be fine. And so I remember that week, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, you know.
Just going in for a little operation. And
yeah, brain surgery. It's
Yeah,
a
just
big
brain
deal.
surgery.
But, and my hair was everything to me. And the idea of, the reason I didn't go with this first doctor here at Loma sounds so shallow, but he wanted to shave my whole head.
To do the surgery.
That's what made up my mind, that if I was going to go to another doctor here or if I was going to go to this guy up in LA that says, I'll only shave the area I go in. And I said, I could deal with a crown around my head. I could
So
do ponytails.
You're worried about your hair, which is normal. I mean, you're worried
It's
about your hair.
shallow.
and- yeah.
Now I'd shave my head in a heartbeat, but it's a little lumpy. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Right, that was then. And it was very, very
I was in
important to
high
you.
school, you know.
16 years old. And so actively involved. So you go into the LA area, and it's apparently around Easter time. And you're at the Children's Hospital, and your family and friends were getting involved in helping some of the other patients and kids. And
Everybody was there. I had the whole track team there. LA was so PO'd because they were everywhere. The whole hospital was taken over by my family and friends. And I mean, it was amazing how much support I had, really.
I mean, support is critically important when
Yeah.
you're diagnosed with something like this.
Yeah.
So now tell us what happened.
Well, the night before my first surgery, we went to this little Mexican restaurant, had a huge dinner, and everyone was getting ready for this, and because I was in PO by 12 o'clock. So we went and had, they go, what do you want? I go, either In-N-Out or Mexican food. And they said, okay. So we went to Mexican food, and my best friend that since kindergarten was out there with me, and we sang karaoke at this little Mexican restaurant and had just a ball. And the next,
And your face surgery the next day.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're kind of having.
But
your,
I'm thinking it's gonna be like in, snip, by, you know.
Yeah, get in, and they're going to take a little bit of the hair off and leave most of it there for
Yeah,
you.
enough to cover it up because my hair's
Didn't really
thick.
realize the magnitude of what you were being
no.
faced with, did you?
And the next day, surgery time came, and I was nervous because they said they told us the risk, you know, and everything. And I looked at my brother and I made him promise me, if it's cancer, you will tell me when I wake up. And my brother's like one of my best friends, Jeff, and he said, absolutely, I'm going to tell you.
So at this point, you knew you had a tumor, but you didn't know if it was malignant.
Yeah. Or if it was cancer. And I said, man, you should buy me a truck if it's cancer. Which is awful too, I know, but I was joking with him. And he said, I will buy you anything if you promise you'll fight this all the way to the end. I said, 4x4? But it wasn't, because I thought it wasn't cancer, you know?
Sure.
I really didn't. And when I went into surgery, I was ready, I was comfortable, and God was completely right. I felt so
You were
there.
at peace with God. I mean, you made sure
Absolutely.
that, you knew that He was in control.
Absolutely.
And you belonged
I gave
to
it
Him.
all to Him.
Your sins were forgiven, and
I
all was
said,
well. So you
boy,
go in,
yeah, and
have the surgery,
I
go to
just
sleep.
remember the doors shutting on the way out, and my family's on the other side, and they wheel me through, and they have a radio with music blasting, and it's not blasting, but it was louder so
Seemed
you could
loud.
hear it, and it was my brown-eyed girl, an oldie song. I go, you guys are playing music during my surgery, and the neurosurgeon looked at me and he goes, it's like an 8-hour surgery. We get bored. And I said, oh no. And he said, everything's gonna get slow. And that's all I remember. And I woke up, after the surgery, and my brother was by my side. Well, and my Aunt Barbara, there was 4 people by my side, my mom, my Aunt Barbara, my brother, and I can't remember who else was there. But my brother said, Jen, we gotta talk. And it's cancer. And my heart drops. When you hear that word,
Sure.
you think death,
Yeah.
Death
sentence.
Death sentence. And I mean, I'm comfortable with God, and I always am. I mean, always was then too. It's just,
It's kind of frightening.
It's frightening.
Sure.
It's frightening because there's so many people you love, and my family means more to me than anything. And so I figured, okay, mess with my Aunt Barbara. And my Aunt Barbara said, I'm just coming out of brain surgery, okay? She said, Jenny, how are you? And I said, 1, 2, 3. What are you counting, Jenny? There's little green men on the wall. And because my way of dealing with pain and being scared is joking.
Sure.
And my Aunt Barbara said, oh my goodness, they took out half her brain.
She's not talking right, man.
And then I said, just kidding. But I was trying to lighten things. But yeah, I was 16 and thinking I had 4 months to live. At that point, they diagnosed me with and said that I could do the other things. Well, my family went into a frenzy going, okay, chemo radiation is what they're saying because that's what they know.
Sure.
And my aunt worked at Loma, my Aunt Kathy, and she said, oh, whoa, before you do anything, I just want you to come out here and just go check this thing called Proton out and make an appointment before you start any treatments or anything. And I said, oh, okay, I'll try it. Well, I got an appointment with proton radiation. And they said, well, you're a perfect candidate. We want to try it on you. And back then it was still like, what is this thing? You know, they're explaining how protons are extravagant, or like the protons are taken apart from neutrons, electrons. What is that? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea. And I'm like,
and that was
okay.
early on. And, you know, we've been at it for 20 years now and almost 14,000 patients. But it appears as though you were a perfect candidate with your particular type of tumor.
Yes.
So what happened then? So you learned about it, then you came.
Oh, I started treatments almost immediately after the first surgery. I have had several since then.
Did they tell you you're going to lose your hair?
No, this was the best part, was I'd only lose the size of a quarter where the actual beam actually went in, and that's perfect. I was young then, so I'm thinking, well, yeah, this is regular radiation, and I'll lose all my hair. This one is proton, and I don't know what it is, but I only lose spots, so I'll take that.
That sounds like a good way. All right.
Which I eventually was almost all gone, but.
So how many treatments did you have?
Maximum doses at, I believe it was 32 treatments.
32 treatments.
32 treatments.
And, I mean, did you get sick during the time?
No, I was running cross country. And
you were still in school and running cross country?
Cross country, track, hurdles.
All the time you were undergoing treatment?
Mm-hmm. And then I had a few more surgeries after that because I got a staph infection and
one thing another.
So I've had a total of 8 brain surgeries.
So you've had a total of 8. Mm-hmm. Now, tell me, you went on and you finished school.
I did.
Now, when you were 16, what did you want to do at that point?
A marine biologist. I want to play with dolphins.
You wanted to be a marine biologist, okay? Mm-hmm. But somehow those ideas and those dreams changed.
Yeah.
By the time you're graduating from high school, what did you want to do?
This is after
some of your surgeries and after your treatment.
I was thinking along the lines of maybe be a doctor and a radiologist, or
because
a radiation oncologist.
Impact that had been made upon you.
Yeah, and I'm still thinking of it, but I actually started working in the ER 10 years ago as a EMT.
At the Loma Medical Center.
Loma Linda. So I could be close to it because I do a lot of speeches and volunteer work. So I was like, yeah, I'll go through EMT school and I'll be an EMT while I'm going to college. Well, I fell in love with emergency medicine because I ended up in the emergency room working. And I fell in love with emergency medicine and started expanding on that. I mean, I really, truly believe God put this, like, all of it happened.
He allowed it to happen.
Yes. I would have never thought that.
There is a text in the Bible that says, that all things do work together for the good of those that love the Lord. It doesn't mean that everything that happens is the best, but no matter what happens, that God will guide and direct and lead you. And
Absolutely.
as I'm listening to you, you made your peace with God. You know that Jesus was in control of your life.
Absolutely.
And he was in control of everything. So you're at peace when you had the surgery. You came out, got the frightening news, but that didn't stop you.
Absolutely not.
Nothing has stopped you. You are a track runner. You're a surfer. You're a woman on the go.
Absolutely.
So now you begin working in ER, and I remember talking to you some time ago, and you were also going to school.
I was going to school because I started doing write-outs with Mercier and Sheriff's Air, and I fell in love with...
Now, Mercier, some people may not know what Mercier is.
Oh, okay. Mercier is helicopter rescues, and Sheriff's Air is also... They do helicopter rescues and emergency landing on the freeway. I mean...
You mean you were riding in the helicopter and doing some of this?
Well, I wasn't. I was just doing write-outs with them, and I started falling really like, this is where I want to be. This is so exciting. I mean, and on downtime I could study, and I fell in love with studying, like all these different just random things about emergency medicine, and I fell in love with the helicopter, and actually I made a decision like 3 years ago, okay, I want to be a flight medic. That's what I want to do.
You made that decision?
Yes, I'm going to be a flight paramedic, and that's what I want to do. And then if I am not happy with that, I'm going to still keep going to school, and which I'm in love with the helicopter rescues and closing off freeways and landing and all the action, and I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm not going to lie, but I fell in love with it, and I'm going for it 100%.
So now you've been working still at the medical center.
Absolutely, I'll stay there.
In the ER as a what?
EMT.
As an EMT, and while you're working there, now are you working just a couple hours a week?
No, I'm working 36 hours, which is full-time there.
work.
I went to paramedic school, which is 4 days a week, plus my internship, and it's 4 long days. You go from 9 o'clock in the morning to 6 at night.
This is for your paramedic?
And I still work full-time all the way through that. And then since I finished school, I work 3 jobs. I'm a skills instructor up at Crafton Hills College.
Okay, I want everybody to hear that again. You finished school, you graduated.
I graduated.
And did you get a degree or a certificate or?
It's a paramedic license.
It's a paramedic license. So you are a certified paramedic now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And then you graduated.
Graduation was the biggest day of my life because I never thought I would be there.
Okay.
And everybody knew that, in my whole family, all my friends. And so that day, even my preceptor from medic school rented a Hummer limo, and my partner rented a Hummer limo, picked me up in it, took me to graduation. My whole family was there from back east.
You arrived at graduation in a Hummer?
A Hummer limo.
A Hummer limo.
And then Sheriff's Air, I got a lot of really good friends in Sheriff's Air. Well, they decided it would, since that's what I want to do, they all came in their flight suits with roses, and it was amazing. And then
that must have been a graduation of graduation.
It was so amazing. And then they had Sheriff Sarah fly over for me. And
did they really?
It was amazing. It was by far the best day of my life. And I've always said that the day I graduate from paramedic school will be the best day of my life.
Well, now, so is that the end? What are you planning on doing now?
A flight medic.
You're going to be a flight medic.
I'm almost there. I got to get my experience in as a medic.
And what does that entail? I mean,
a paramedic in the field on an ambulance for a little bit until.
Do you get some experience?
Yes, and I am actually at Simon's out of DeVore. That's one of my jobs as an EMT paramedic, and I'll be working with them until I can. I know. I'll probably be with all these jobs for the rest of my life.
So now tell me, you got 3 jobs. I heard one of them say you're a skills instructor. What does that mean?
I teach, they actually have me as a paramedic assist with, I teach the EMTs how to assist with the paramedic in the field once they get on an ambulance, and I teach them new skills that they need to know to graduate from EMT school. And actually, I have 4 classes that I'm doing this with, and they're graduating.
You're teaching 4 classes?
Or skills.
4 groups?
Yes, an instructor for 4 of them. 4 groups, and they're actually graduating this Friday, so I can't wait. Took the day
Your first
off.
group is
And
going to be graduating.
it's cool, and they're
That is
great.
exciting. So you're doing that. What else are you doing? You said you got 3 jobs.
I'm an EMT paramedic for Simon's Ambulance. We do special events such as motocross.
I mean, are you talking about, is this like a once a month or?
No, it's like 3 or 4 until I could get a full-time medic position with somewhere. That's what I have to do, you know. So I go and I work with them part-time and pick up shifts as a medic and do the ride around the ambulance thing.
And you're still working at the
ER.
At
Loma,
the ER.
Full-time.
How many hours a week are you working?
Well, I'm on spring break from school right now. So right now it's only about 48 to 52.
And when school is going?
Oh, 70, 72 hours.
Jennifer.
I love it. I'm in love with emergency medicine. I really feel that God just, all this happened, and God said, hey, this is what you need to be in, and this happened for a reason, because I would have never thought, I got sick off of blood, looking at blood before. And
Did you really?
oh, like, literally, I fainted. I used to be a dental assistant, and I fainted on my first oral surgery we did. And I was petrified of blood, and then it was like almost like, hey, you know what? You need this
It's
stuff
not
fills you
bothering
need
you
to
now?
be in. No.
I mean, you're working in ER, so
No, it
what kind
doesn't
of things
bother
are
me.
you seeing there?
Everything. Like, we're a level 1 trauma center at Loma, Linda, so we see stabbings, we see shootings, we see amputated legs or arms. You know, I mean, we see everything.
And this isn't bothering you now?
No, it
That
doesn't.
is absolutely.
Because I'm in the mode where I could go into it and go, okay, I need to know do what I learn, otherwise it's not going to help this person.
That is amazing. So tell me what your friends and your family are thinking of everything you're doing now.
I've said it, and my family knows I've always been the person, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And they were so excited. They were more, every test, okay, how'd we do today? How'd we do? Did we get a B or higher? Because I had to get B's or higher. And I mean, they were more excited. They were just as excited as me.
Well, God is blessing you
Absolutely.
in an amazing
Every way. Every way.
Taking where you were, you know, just a number of years ago, having this frightening news that you've got cancer, and you confronted it. Not only did you confront it, I mean, you're moving right on ahead. And it's almost like, as I'm listening to you, it was just kind of a little bump in the road for you.
Oh, back then it didn't feel like that.
Oh, I'm sure it didn't. But as I look back and
now I do feel that way. It was just to turn my direction and go, this is the way you want to go. As far as your career, your life,
turn everything around for you.
Absolutely, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah. Now, have you had any opportunity to interact with other cancer patients?
Absolutely.
What kind of opportunities have you had?
I do some volunteer work at the hospital. I have, because I'm working so much right now, I haven't been able to do a lot of it lately, but we do like little get-togethers for the kids with cancer.
Do you?
And one really cool one was we filled one of the side break rooms up with cat litter and put surfboards up, and then
Come on.
Yeah, we had a beach party for them.
No kidding, at the hospital?
Yeah, the housekeeping was mad, I think.
And what did you do?
We did cat litter, and then we put surfboards up and little palm trees, and because a lot of them don't get to get out and see that. And so we did that, and so the kids could come in, and it was like the beach had a little wade pool, and it was...
It must be kind of encouraging to both the parents as well as the kids to find out, hey, here's somebody that had cancer.
Absolutely.
Look at her now, and look at all she is doing.
A lot of people look at me and you had cancer, I had hydrocephalus from the cancer, I had just multiple problems, and they look at me and they're like, you had brain cancer, and I'm like, it's still in there, but it's not growing.
It's not going. Well, we've got people from around the world that are looking. Some people that are watching, somebody in their family was just diagnosed with cancer. What would you tell them? Young or old, what would you tell them?
Young or old,
Yeah.
do not give up, because you know what?
Say that again.
Young or old, do not give up, because our doctors are very gifted, and God works through them, but no one has anything to do with your time except God. So don't give up. Try everything.
Very, very important point. Don't give up.
No.
Cancer is a diagnosis,
It's
not a death sentence. And incidentally, the Old Testament writer says, today is the day of the Lord. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. All of us only have one day, not yesterday, nor tomorrow. It's today, and we need to learn to live every day to the very fullest. Well, we've got people from around the world that are watching, and Jennifer, I know that your story has been an encouragement, not only to the people here as you're interacting with them, and not only all those people that showed up for your graduation, but for the people that are watching here. You're a marvelous testimony of somebody that is confronted with something and you refused. You're going to move on, you're going to live your life, and you're going to be making a difference. The kind of work that you're involved in, you're touching lives all the time. You are making a difference. And for those that are watching on, it's been such a joy to get acquainted here with Jennifer and to learn more about her background and to be following her the last few years. I remember when we met a few years ago, you were telling your story, and now we're looking back, and you've continued on with your education, your training, your school, working 60, 70 hours a week when school's going on. And I know that God is going to continue to bless you. For those of you that are watching our program, we want to thank you for joining us. I'm Lynn Martell for our Journey of Hope, and Jennifer is another tremendous illustration of people who have been confronted with the words, you have cancer, but they've moved on and become not only survivors, but thrivers. And you too, if God, I know that God's got a plan for you. If you look to Him and put your trust in Him, listen for His voice. He's going to open and close doors for you. He's got a bright future plan for you. Until we meet next week, God bless you, each one.